Hello and welcome to Lessons from Life. Today's story is about kindness, regret, and a decision that changed one man's life forever. Have you ever ignored someone because they looked unimportant? Have you ever wished you could go back and make a different choice? Then this story is for you. My name is Michael Carter. I am 42 years old, and for most of my life, I believed that success was everything. I worked long hours. I chased promotions. I measured people by their achievements. And without realizing it, I became someone I never wanted to be: cold, busy, and disconnected from others. Every morning, I followed the same routine: wake up, drink coffee, drive to work, attend meetings, return home, sleep, then do it all again. Life felt like an endless race. One rainy Monday morning, I was running late for an important meeting. Traffic was terrible. My phone kept ringing, and my stress level was through the roof. As I hurried toward my office building, I noticed an elderly man standing near the entrance. His clothes were old, his hair was gray and messy, and he was holding a small cardboard sign. Most people walked past him without looking. I did the same. As I passed, he smiled politely and said, "Good morning." I ignored him. I didn't even look at him. To me, he was just another homeless man, another face in the crowd, another person I didn't have time for. Days passed, then weeks. Every morning, the old man stood near the building, and every morning he greeted people with a smile. Some ignored him. Some avoided eye contact. Others acted as if he didn't exist. But no matter what happened, he always smiled. I never understood why. One morning, something unexpected happened. As I rushed toward the entrance, my briefcase slipped from my hand. Papers flew everywhere. The wind carried documents across the sidewalk. I groaned in frustration. People walked past without stopping. Nobody offered to help. Then suddenly, someone knelt beside me. It was the old man. Without saying a word, he began gathering my papers. For several minutes, he chased documents through puddles and rain. By the time he finished, his clothes were soaked. He handed me the papers and smiled. "There you go," he said. I felt embarrassed. For weeks I had ignored him, yet he was helping me. "Thank you," I said quietly. "You're welcome." Then he returned to his usual spot. For the first time, I looked at him differently. The next morning, I brought him a cup of coffee. When I handed it to him, his eyes lit up. "Thank you," he said. "It's nice to be noticed." Those words stayed with me all day. Nice to be noticed. Such a simple sentence, yet it carried so much sadness. Over the following weeks, I started talking to him. His name was Samuel. He was 73 years old, and he had an incredible story. Years earlier, Samuel had owned a small bookstore. He loved books. He loved helping people discover new ideas. For the first time in years, I felt myself slowing down, listening more, caring more. Then one winter morning, Samuel wasn't there. I waited, but he never appeared. The next day he was gone again. A strange feeling settled in my chest. Something wasn't right. After work, I searched nearby shelters. Eventually, I found someone who knew him. The news hit me like a truck. Samuel had suffered a heart attack. He was in the hospital. I immediately drove there. When I arrived, Samuel looked weak, but when he saw me, he smiled. The same smile he always had. "You came," he whispered. "Of course I came." For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then Samuel reached into a small bag beside his bed. He pulled out an old notebook. "I want you to have this." I looked confused. "What is it?" "My thoughts," he said. "My memories." I opened the notebook. Inside were hundreds of handwritten pages. Stories, life lessons, dreams, advice, years of wisdom. I looked up. "Why are you giving this to me?" Samuel smiled softly. "Because you listened." A few weeks later, Samuel passed away. The news broke my heart. I attended his funeral. Only 6 people were there. 6 for a man who had touched countless lives. As I stood there, I made a promise. Samuel's story would not be forgotten. Months later, I used his notebook to create a small blog. I shared his stories online. At first, only a few people read them. Then hundreds. Then thousands. Soon, millions of people around the world were reading Samuel's words. His message of kindness spread further than either of us could have imagined. One evening, while reading comments from readers, I realized something. Samuel had changed my life. Not through money, not through power, not through success, but through perspective. He taught me that every person has a story. Every person carries struggles we cannot see, and every person deserves dignity. Today, whenever I see someone being ignored, I remember Samuel. I remember the old man standing in the rain. The man I almost never noticed. The man who taught me one of life's greatest lessons. Never judge a person by where they are today, because you don't know the journey that brought them there. And sometimes, the people who seem to have the least to offer are the ones who have the most important lessons to teach. Thank you for listening, and remember, kindness costs nothing, but it can change everything. See you in the next story.